It was in his excerpt.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
That's makes it quick and easy.
Yeah, that's
You
what he was
don't
telling
over.
me.
I would say go to Claremore, Oklahoma, and look how their Roll call.
Autumn Graybill,
Here.
Here.
Ron Racer,
Here.
Pam Buffington, Roy Jackson,
Here.
Sherry Alexander, Chris Graves,
Here.
Keith Shelby.
Here. Discuss some possible approved minutes of the February 26, 2024 meeting. I don't know if you've had time to look at it. Any questions or discussions about the minutes from the last meeting? I know it went quite
I'll
long.
make that motion.
I'll
Motion.
second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Number 3, discuss possible recommend council action to hire an architect to design bridges for the golf course at a cost not to exceed $9,000.
I'll make the motion.
Make a motion.
Second.
Need any discussion before vote, or?
Can you just
Gonna get an
remind,
overview or something?
because there was some that weren't here.
Absolutely.
From-
Yeah. So at the last meeting, from my recollection, the talk was to, we had a couple options to buy some bridges or have an engineer design a bridge, and then we'd buy the materials and then take it to some place. I've already had conversations with like Elite Fabricators. They said that they'd build it. So we need 4 of them. So I think that we could get 4 of them built over a period of time, but, we can't build it without a design, and it has to be from a structural engineer, and that's what this guy is. So I think that was the wish, is to go ahead and have the engineer give us a design, we'll purchase some materials, and then get people to build them and then install them.
So would these be steel bridges?
Yes,
If
it'd be,
they're gonna fabricate them and things like that?
right, it would basically look, I don't know if it was in the packet or not, but.
Did you look at the packet from last week?
Yeah. I
They're
did.
pretty much,
Pretty much, yeah.
they're really good bridges.
Yeah. No go, being cement poured out over those things like this?
It'd be basically like that bridge
Oh.
right here
Yeah.
designed. So,
yeah.
we have the wooden planks 8 foot wide by, depending on the length,
Right. Well, that's, looks like a great solution.
Yeah, so.
It's so much cheaper than what you got out there now if you wanted to replace them with all that stuff.
Right.
And is it just 4 that we need? I thought we needed 5
Well,
or 6. I knew that at one time we had more than 4.
right.
Was it?
The bridge on number 1 is pretty good structural wise. Now aesthetically, it'd be nice to have all of our bridges look alike,
Correct.
but the main need right now is for sure 4.
Okay.
Is it any more to have them go ahead and engineer them, and you don't have to build them all?
Right, that's what I'm hoping, is
So the
that,
engineering for
that
all
we'll be able to
6?
have 2 to 3 plans at the most, and because most of them's all gonna be the same size.
Could use
And
them
it-
for both. You could
right.
use them to satisfy all the bridge needs that would be out there.
Exactly, there's probably 2 plans, maybe 3 at the most. And then, build however many we think we need to build right now, and still be able to do cart pass. So, and I don't know how much we can build, because until I get a set of plans that show the, all the specifications and parts needed, I don't know how much steel we'd have to buy.
What was it, that $5,000 for that one, wasn't it, or something like that?
Yeah, there's a
It-
20-foot one that they have on here, that you can buy for $5,000 without the wood.
So I can't imagine we can't.
So, if we buy the material, we ought to be able to build that one pretty inexpensively, I would think.
Can that be done for 9,000? I mean, that's reasonable. You have a feel of what that's
The
really
plans,
cost?
that's
This
just,
is the
that's just
plan.
architectural, just the architectural part.
Right, that, but
The engineering,
the engineering on this can be done for 9,000.
yes, that's what according to his quotes on the back of that page,
I didn't get to look at
the
that.
very back page.
Right here.
There you go.
Oh,
So Dennis,
there we go, thank you.
if we're looking at the process that you're talking about, we would pay to have somebody engineer them.
Correct?
After they engineer them, there would be another company that would actually build them. And we'd have that company build them. And then somebody would install them. Do you know yet who would install them?
To back up just a little bit, we'll pay for the engineering,
Yeah,
then he'll give me a list of materials I'll have to go get bids on those, depending on what, I'll have to have that bid out, because that'll be, you know, how much money. So I have to bid out the materials, get that approved, buy the materials, take them to Elite or have them delivered at Elite, then they would build the bridge, and then we'll have to have somebody set it. Whether or not, who we pay for, to set the actual bridge is another story we'll have to find out on.
And so we're actually got 4 parties involved. We're gonna pay engineering, we're gonna pay for materials,
Correct?
we're gonna pay for construction, and we're gonna pay for implementation, we don't know, but
Right, so we'll have to have on, like, to redo the bridge, okay? One, we gotta tear out the old bridge.
okay, so first of all, then, we've got to remove the old bridge. Got to pay somebody. Are we going to be able to do that, or do we need to pay somebody?
You know, I don't know if Buddy at the street department has enough, equipment to help us, or,
Do we even have to take it down?
a couple of them we do not, but we eventually need to probably get rid of them, because they're gonna look like
Sure.
an eyesore, but, a couple of them we're actually gonna move over, say 10 feet, actually help make it better, you know, a cleaner
So
shot.
you're not
instead
using
of
where it's
curving.
already at.
Right, so be real close to where it's at, but just scoot it over. Still have to build concrete, and that's on this page here, the concrete abutments on each end of the bridge that the bridge sits on and bolts to. So that'd be some, old bridge has to come out, concrete will have to be poured, then you set the new bridge.
So we're going to get engineering plans, and the next thing we're going to do is, probably in the sequence is go and get materials,
Correct,
and then we're going to build it.
correct,
We're gonna have it built. Before we can install it, we're gonna bring in another crew to go out and do site prep
correct.
and pour concrete and whatever that is. Do you have any idea who that might be?
That would probably be our crew, 'cause I don't think it's that big of a deal. I've talked to several people, it's just a matter, you know, we poured our cart pass, it's a matter of forming up, according to the plans, form up the concrete embankment, pour the concrete in there with the rebar, and have it where you can put the bolt anchors down for the bridge. Something I think we can handle. If not, you know, we might get Buddy at the street department to help us. They're really good with concrete for maybe half a day or something.
What do we
Take
have
about-
set aside for the, did we have, what was it, 100, 150? That we had set aside for the bridges and cart paths?
Well, that's another part of the equation here. So, without knowing what the bridges cost, it's hard to figure out what we can do on cart pass. So I'll just run over some rough numbers here to help explain everything to everybody. All right, so the account has 285,000 in it, right? If we take the truck out, that's 40,000, so I'm just doing rough math here, so that leaves 245. We keep 100 for cash flow purposes, that leaves 145. Say we spend 35 on bridges, I don't know, depends on how many we do, right? 35 on bridges leaves us 120. We got 25 coming from the Cherokee Nation, that gets us 145. If we have 145, I think I'm pretty confident we can do 9 holes. If we have less than that, we may only do 6 holes. That would be how I'd see it planned out. Everybody follow my math?
That's spending 35 on bridges.
Correct.
So that leaves how much then expendable for the paths?
That,
Your
if
last number.
those numbers fall into place, that would leave 145, including the 25 from the Cherokees.
Right.
Now, that doesn't include, though, that there may be some businesses that want to buy the bridges and put some advertising on it.
Correct.
Fundraising or anything like
And
that.
if that happens, and that was part of the other plan last night or the other night when we had our meeting, is that there's a good possibility that those bridges could be sponsored by a corporation, will put their name on it, this bridge sponsored by XYZ company, and then that would give us more money for cart pass.
You know,
So,
it seems prudent to me, but I'm an old project manager, so.
Yeah,
I
that's good.
tend to be,
And that's good to know. We need the steps.
yeah. I would put together an estimate for two things. I put together an estimate that shows all the steps, who's gonna perform those steps, kind of a start and stop date for each one of those steps, and see how much time and materials it's gonna take, cost. Because you've got another issue, I think, I don't know how you plan to do this, is once you take that old bridge out, what are you gonna do until you get the new one in?
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to coordinate getting these structures, remove the old stuff, get it set up, and bring the new stuff in. So how you think we're gonna address that period of outage that we don't have a bridge?
Right, so I've already done some preliminary planning on
Okay.
that. And for example, hole 7, because that's probably the first bridge we need to replace. It's the longest and it's the narrowest. Is instead of coming up to the bridge on hole 7, we actually reroute them around the east side of the creek, and then they kind of go past number 8, circle back into the fairway. So we have some ways to, on all of them, we can reroute them a little bit out of their way. Most people's in golf carts, so it doesn't matter, you know, you just, if you're walking, it'd be a little bit. If you're walking, we have a walk bridge on 7, so it's no big deal to walk a little bit, and you cut across with the walk bridge. So every bridge we replace, I've already thought about how we're gonna reroute them, and I don't see no problems there.
Yeah, okay.
So now, if we take this 9,000 out of that 35,000 you say you have for bridges, we're leaving us 26,000. You're pretty confident we can get materials built and installed in 26,000?
I don't know how many we can do, but if we get them sold, then that we wouldn't touch probably hardly any other money. We wouldn't, you know, it'd just
Yeah,
be
but
the
we don't wanna
9,000.
lean on
If we
that.
don't get them sold, then we're gonna have, and I don't know until I get a set of plans with specifications and materials. I mean, I've never built a bridge, I don't know how much the steel costs, I don't know
Well,
how much the
and
wood
to
costs.
me, I think our biggest issue is still, we're going back to the same thing. We have no idea
What it's
exactly
gonna
what our building material is
Right.
until we get some engineer to do it.
Right, without,
I mean, this is step 1 of step,
right, like you
5.
said, right,
At least 5, yeah.
yeah.
so.
You
I
know, the
mean,
people
really-
that do those bridges probably could give you a reasonable idea. I mean, those ones right there.
Of material cost?
Yeah, they probably have a reasonable idea. And
If
wouldn't
they're
you
selling
use,
them for $5,000, they gotta have a pretty good idea.
I mean, Elite could probably buy those and fabricate them both, the material and, they might be able to buy it cheaper, the steel and things like that.
Well, right,
I mean, and fabricate it together.
Right.
From,
with this,
and their
now,
buying power should
and
come through.
Mayor, you have to correct me if I'm wrong, if XYZ company said, hey, here's 20,000 for a bridge, or 10,000, just make it easy, 10,000 for a bridge, and they gave Elite the money to go buy the materials and everything, Elite could probably do it. I don't think it'd have to be bid out, I might be wrong. But if it comes through the city, it'll have to be bid out if it's over 2,500.
Mhm.
And if it's under 2,500, then the council could approve it, and mayor could approve it. So we have to, depends on which way we go.
Cheapest way, but.
Right.
You would
And-
think that maybe a local company might be more
Well-
inclined to be more
Well, I'm-
competitive than somebody
I'm,
else.
So-
like you, I'm sure Elite, as much metal as they buy, or, you know, there's other metal places, Williams
I
Construction,
would think.
they probably get some pretty good pricing.
I would think, and I would, you know, hear testimony on it, or wherever you wanna say, for $9,000, all we're doing is getting a plan. After
Right.
that,
You
if
start.
after that, we know that the build material cost $3,500, $4,500, and we can sell them, there's not much of a question. I think our biggest problem is we just need to get the $9,000 as a
Well,
starting
I
point.
will tell you, and I, in general, I agree with you, but typically in a project, well, just, projects typically don't come in under.
Correct.
Because
I
people, you
agree.
plan
I
what you
agree.
know, it's
Yeah.
what you don't know that kicks you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's-
tail.
Yeah.
But the other thing is there's kind of a feasibility phase typically, that you go, kind of getting rough numbers, from planning grade numbers.
Right.
Does this look like something we've got? In our case, do we have enough money? And I mean, that's your business. You
Right.
know how much we've got out there, how much you've got, you can allocate to
Yeah.
this. And when you look at it, because I think we're in a position where we're self-sufficient at the golf course. We're not relying upon any money from the city.
Right.
It's all gonna be Now, we may get people that will come in and give us money. You know, it may, the Cherokees sound like they have for cart paths. So I think from a feasibility standpoint, you just wanna look at that and lay it out, and go, okay, this does seem feasible, that we can afford to build this.
Right.
Because having plans, that's what I was talking about. If you're gonna be strategic and say, yeah, I'm gonna design this and we're gonna go build it, you gotta make sure you got the money.
Right.
If you don't have the money, those plans are,
Right.
wasted effort. But I think you've been dealing with this, and I would just say, get comfortable with that you think we can do this
Yeah.
on our own with no,
Yeah, I don't see really a problem with making it happen. The two factors are, if the bridges cost more than we planned, we do less cart pass. All right?
Bridges have priority over.
Right, that was what come to the meeting, bridges are the priority, so we do whatever it takes to do the bridges, maybe it's less cart pass, or if we get them sponsored by other companies, then the only cost to us may be the $9,000.
sounds good.
So,
It's kind of,
but I mean,
kind of fluid, isn't it?
I like your plan, I need to outline on paper, hey, here's all the steps we're gonna go through. Cause tearing down the other bridge, I don't know who we could get to do that, some of them, those are big old concrete bridges.
Arc wrecking.
Huh?
Arc wrecking would
Yeah.
probably be pricey.
Little
though.
dynamite, anybody dynamite people?
Have some firecrackers.
Yeah, big firecrackers.
That's it.
But, so that's kind of where I'm at on it, is, hey, if we spend more, we just do less cart pass and we save up more money, hopefully next year or two to finish them up, or if everything goes good and we sell some of them, maybe we sell 2 out of the 4,
It's better than selling none at all.
If we can sell 6, then we do all 6 of them, and they all look nice, that'd be the ideal plan, is to sell 6 bridges for once we figure out they cost, say they cost, instead of costing 5,000, maybe it gets built for only 2,500, well, it's a lot easier to sell a 2,500 one, and then the long ones may cost 6,000 or 10,000 instead of they sell it for 32,000 on there, so.
I mean, at the end of the day, we do know the cost for one is $5,000.
On the 20-footers, so 40.
That's
And
not,
that's
in
that's not
everything.
installed cost.
That's not
No, that's
installed,
just
but
We just
that's
know-
$5,000, and they're shipping them to us.
Wait, it's not even put together though, is it?
We've got to
Yeah,
buy the wood.
Only thing we gotta do is buy the wood.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're
and-
$300 on,
Wood.
$350 probably on wood.
Right.
So
$55.
if you put your pen to paper to it, they're selling them for $5,000 and shipping them here. There's somewhere in the middle, I mean, I don't know what the profit margin is, but
It's gotta be.
we have
$50.
we have somewhat of an idea of a roundabout cost, not a direct cost, but
They
the only
probably
way
don't.
for us to get a true cost, we'll get a set of plans
Right.
to understand what we're looking at.
I would estimate they probably build them for 2,000 to 2,500. If I'm in business, you gotta at least probably make that much money to pay for your labor and shipping and.
So we're talking 33,000 for 6 bridges at 5,500. So it's about what you've estimated, 35,000?
Yeah, you gotta take the engineering out of there first, but just depends.
Oh, yeah.
Again, this isn't coming out of city money. This
No,
is
no.
coming out of the
And-
golf
No,
course
I
money.
know.
It all
So, I
has to
mean-
come back to you anyway. Once we get the plans, I can say, okay, now I can get estimates on materials. Now
Okay.
I get estimates on the concrete, so bring it back to you guys, say, okay, to build one bridge, we gotta spend $3,000, $2,000 in concrete, $5,000, and then we have to demo the bridge. I need to do some research on how we're gonna get that old bridge out of there,
And all the bridges are pretty much the same size.
correct?
Any other,
Clear as mud?
No. No, it's very clear, thank you. I missed the last meeting, and that helps me a lot, thank you.
any other?
No,
And I'll put together a itemized step by step, and then that way we can throw cost associated with it, estimates
Roy?
on there. and
And this
time.
is an engineer company or an architect?
An engineer.
Is this an engineer company or
Structural engineer.
Yeah.
not an architect? Okay.
No,
Do
not.
we have to change what it says? Because it says architect, do I need to change that? Does it?
I wouldn't say you need to. If you'd like to amend the motion it's yours,
Mayor?
so.
Just amend the motion.
Alright. So we've got,
Amend the motion to
we've got a first and a second on the floor.
approve
correct?
structural engineer, yeah.
Roll call, please.
Graybill,
Yes.
Reeser,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Graves,
Yes,
Shelby.
Yes. Item number 4, discuss possible recommend council action to repave golf cart paths at the cost not to exceed $150,000. Your floor again.
All right, so maybe a different way of putting this is to be able to do enough cart pass not to lower our balance more than to $100,000.
Which is about 150 based on some.
Right, it could be. It all depends on the bridges.
Yeah.
Right? So if we get by less on the
Well-
bridges, we may have 160 to spend on cart pass, or we could have 120.
Well, we know if we approve it, we know we're not going to exceed 150. I mean, we could always lower our expectation, I guess, Greg.
Yeah, I don't know what the best way for y'all to word it
I don't
is.
know, but do we need to do a motion first?
Yeah.
Well, somebody's gonna make a motion, I'm just,
yeah, I'm thinking of,
I don't know how we would reword it, because that's, I mean, at the end of the day, we're not going to exceed $150,000.
Right, no. It's all gonna come back to you and say, hey, instead of doing 150, we're gonna do 120, or whatever, or we're gonna
We
do
didn't
160.
exceed, we didn't exceed what's gonna
Right.
get approved, is what I'm getting at. So if it comes under, well, we came under.
Do we need to do it right now, or can we wait to find out what it's gonna cost us to do the bridges?
I was gonna say, your discussion was just to see what the bridges cost before you started paving the paths. So I would say, let's get the bridges out of the way.
Yeah, but see, you're not gonna really know.
You gonna table
What the real cost is
Yeah.
until you
Yeah,
get
see, I
donations.
think
So is it better just to table?
Probably
I
so.
would think so.
are you comfortable with that, Dennis?
Yeah.
Just table it, and
Yeah,
that doesn't throw off.
like I
your
said, the
timeline?
bridges are the priority. We need to figure those out.
Take no
We're
action.
not gonna do anything anyway until we
Nope.
get that done, so.
And I have
We take no
Then we
action.
can bring it back.
a good enough idea, depending on how things go, if I can get guys out there and say, hey, we're probably only gonna do half of them, or, as they come out and look at them. I've been getting people come out and just look to help figure out
When do we have to take action before on the money that the Cherokees have?
by the end of the year. But
End of
ideally,
In the
When
June-
is
June
their,
30?
when is the end of their year?
well, he said the end of 2024, is what the quote I got from him.
12/31/20.
We can talk to Danny.
Yeah, right.
That's a doable conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure that theirs isn't like ours in June.
So we would have to expend that money.
Right. Ideally, if we get the bridges started, I'd like to do cart pass between July and August. That's the best time to lay asphalt. It's the best time for the golf course because it's just firm. You're having trucks out there, you don't want them tearing up stuff. It's typically the ground's not soft. So we should have enough time, hey, we get going on the bridges by June or so, we ought to for sure know, hey, we're gonna be able to send out for bids for this much cart pass.
Okay, I make a motion to no action, or do we have to do a motion?
You don't need to do it.
We don't have to do a motion, okay.
So let's do no action on item number 4.
I think so.
Perfect. Any other questions about anything else golf-wise? that y'all-
No, I mean, I think that answers it, because I put, I had them put on there just because I thought if we could carry everything in there, but not knowing what their bridges are, I still
Right.
think we're gonna be okay, because
Yeah, the bridges.
my concerns are still the same, that we don't lose that money that's already
Right.
been promised, especially to do cart pass, because we do need to take
Oh,
some type of actions upon that. But if our bridges come in and feel comfortable that everything's okay, then we'll still be all right. As long as we can get it in, I think by April or May, I think we'll be
How-
okay.
How long did he say it would
Conversation,
take?
It appears that there's gonna be around 100 and.
He didn't act like it'd take him too long to design.
Well,
the
and
bridge, a week or so.
Every month, we're doing well in the
The
account
design's
too.
It'll grow too.
It's gonna grow
When
too.
you're getting into the business.
How did your month end? Do you have any idea yet?
February?
Yeah.
Oh, really good. Best February ever.
This warm weather was crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Memberships and everything was just up. We did 40-something thousand in February, which is unbelievable. So to give you an update exactly where we're at, January was really a tough month, right? So we was 10,000 below 2023's January. February was up, which put us at my numbers, which are pretty accurate, 18,000 ahead of last year, which we did 726, I think, last year. So we're running 18,000 ahead of that through February, which is really good. So if we,
We're coming into better weather March, April, May.
March, April, May, yeah, you know, you never know about March and April. April can be really a rainy month. It can be a great month. So we get past April, then it's kind of, May and June's easier to predict. Pretty well easy to.
Well, again, I don't want us to lose sight on the cart path. It's
No.
one of those deals that, just make sure that, I guess, whenever we figure out
get the
our bridges, and then start cart paths immediately.
Hopefully by the next meeting, which will be a couple, 3 weeks,
Mhm.
I can be able to say, hey, here's the bridges, materials, and we can approve that then. And then we'll know.
Then we
where
know
we're
what we can do on cart paths.
at. Right, we should start having a better idea,
Any,
except for how many we're gonna get sold. But we'll know what they cost, even if we had to do them all in-house.
sure.
Worst case scenario, I guess.
You know, if we're lucky, it might be more conducive to fundraising additional funds for those. If we can get, you know, we're gonna spend only so much money. You're gonna spend only so much money to put on the cart pass. You've only got so much to spend.
Right, only so much.
But if it gets us 80% there might be others interested in saying, you know what, if we're gonna get this close,
Right.
can we figure out a way, fundraising wise, to get us
Right.
to 100?
And I've thought of that, and that was on my plans, is, hey, if we can just get close where we can start going to ask people, hey, we just need a little bit more, we go a little further, and we can finish it and have them
Yeah.
all done, that would be huge. There's probably some people out there that we can at least ask. And
Any other discussions before we adjourn? Nope. Well, I appreciate everybody being here tonight.
Yep,
Thank you, and Dennis, thank you for coming in, discussing that.
thank you, guys.
Number 5, adjourn. Can I get a motion to adjourn, please?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
That was an easy one.